You know, what's interesting is that very few people can do this by themselves, let alone teach it at a large scale level. We talk about that, and we talk about the vision. What is the vision for this company? I mean, your vision is great and what you've accomplished. What's the vision for this company? And I've heard it, and people need to hear this. It's wonderful. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think I wasn't very different than a lot of people. The original impetus for creating wealth and this original freedom, it wasn't to start a movement. It wasn't to bless any other lives other than me and my family. I was being taught, take care of your own, be a good provider. So I had done that. And it was about 6 months after I quit my job. I was spending so much time at home, and my wife and I were traveling. We were actually on a tiny little island out off of Jamaica called Kokomo. They sing about it in the songs.
I like that song.
Yeah, and we were walking on the beach, and Krhon, she turned to me and she said, "Kris, it's been nice having you home so much." I think she said it a little bit joking because I had been home a lot. But what she wanted to know is, so what do you think you're going to do with your life? and I thought,
you need to get out of the house, honey.
Well, but it actually was perfect for me because I started thinking, you're right. Not working isn't fun, and being full-time at home all the time, like something did definitely feel like it was missing. And I did some soul searching, and at that time, something that actually helped me figure out what my vision for my life and now what we've created here with Strongbrook is all the people that started knocking on my door saying, teach me, help me, can you show me what you've done? And I was very opposed to that because I saw that most people, if they didn't have the natural passion for real estate, that without a support system or a support team, just a little knowledge, real estate for the average person too difficult. So,
absolutely.
So we set out and forged a path and did something new and created a vision. When I say we, I mean me, and I started surrounding myself with just some of the most amazing people. We put a company together, and the purpose was to help others that wanted to make the money in real estate without having to do the work. And what we did is we took a stand for entrepreneurship, because 99% of this country's GDP is based on the backbone of entrepreneurs.
Small business, you're absolutely right.
And small business used to run this country, but more and more, we got 93% of Americans, and they're locked in a job, and MSNBC says 87% of them are unhappy or don't like their job. I mean, people are miserable. And on top of it, we got this economy. And so I don't see anyone out there freedom fighting for the entrepreneurs. Think about that. There's no place for the entrepreneur. Where do they go to college and get a degree? Not in business or getting an MBA, but how do you start a business and run a business successfully as an entrepreneur? That's not out there. So we said, you know what? Real estate is like a business in the box, and we've proven it. What if we could help people by getting them involved, and we would do all the heavy lifting? We'd let them be the CEO and make the choices, and they could experience the freedom and the fruits of successful entrepreneurship. So, today we're helping as many people as we can that have a desire to run successful businesses based on principles that work, especially in the now economy, and we're helping them win. And I believe that's how we're going to rebuild America. It happens one person at a time. It happens a family at a time. A number of families can rebuild a community. And if we rebuild enough communities, Greg, then we're going to rebuild this once great nation and restore back that American dream that I fear has been lost because we don't have enough successful entrepreneurs.
I totally agree with you, folks. And most people don't realize the American dream is going away. And if you look at real estate and the options right now, because there's still going to be people going to need to rent, they're going to be in those areas that are weak right now, and the areas that are struggling. But I look at, more importantly, people need to understand what a home-based business does. And this is, you have a mentorship program here, you have a coaching program here. In fact, I can call you a financial coach that teaches people about a concept that people have talked about. They all want to buy the American dream. They want to buy their house. But they really don't understand. And you kind of work outside the box, but within the box also. And you got all these professionals around you. That the vision you came to was interesting to me, is that we talk about this, that you kept track of these records with a gentleman in your group. What's his name again?
Ruben, man.
Ruben.
Yeah.
Ruben's the numbers guy, and I
He's
always
the
like
numbers
numbers.
guy.
So it's not magic, it's math. Let's talk a little bit about how you kept track of that to come to this point where you know this will work and you can scale this whole concept.
It all started with just creating predictability in the business. Most people I'd see that when they said, oh, I want to make money in real estate. Well, the truth is they didn't care about real estate. They wanted the money. So that was the first flaw. They needed a team, a support team that would actually do the heavy lifting for them, because people are far more successful when they have other people doing the things they love and when they're doing the things that they love. And then it really came down to narrowing it down to a niche that any American could tap into. Our niche is single-family real estate. Homes that are bought below the median, homes that are bought at a certain age, homes that are between 3 and 5 bedrooms and 2 to 3 bathrooms. Do we touch condos and townhomes and apartments and flips? We don't do any of that. Why? Because we've bought over 1,000 homes this way, and we have predictability. And when you chart and graph those numbers that you're talking about, and you've got all those spreadsheets, that creates security, that reduces the risk, that helps people feel comfortable because they're not taking action on an idea or a theory. They're taking action and stepping into the known instead of the unknown.
Well, what's great about it is my background is real estate and construction. I did that for about 25 years, and everybody, when you're a young man or you got a young household, like I had 6 kids.
Wow.
I was one of those guys who was on the 2-year plan. I tried for a son and a daughter. I just had 6 daughters. So just,
wow.
There you go. But
eventually you had to get off that plan, right?
Yeah, I did. And by the time I was 31, I had 6 kids. And at 31, you're kind of stuck in realizing that you need a bigger house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I bought my house relatively young too, but I didn't understand the concept at the time. And it took me a lot longer than you, Kris, to do this. And I smile at what you've done, but you put it so simply together that the average person can come in, study your program, get with your mentors and your coaches, learn the program, and they get educated through a grassroots movement you have. I like the grassroots movement. You're teaching people that really would maybe never know this or maybe not as sophisticated because they haven't had real estate. But now you're going to teach the average person where they can put their money and maximize their advantages for them and their family. And that's what I love about this. And then we talk about, the vision you had, but I want to talk about also some of the people you brought to the table, your staff and some of the people that you've run into, your attraction to other people and them to you. And let's just talk about some of the people that are on your board and here. You got a lot of them. I've met a lot of them the last couple of days, but you got some great people here that are really experienced.
I have some amazing people, and it actually started with putting my own power team together because I've got a belief and a philosophy that says if you want something done right, don't do it yourself.
Have somebody else do it.
Yeah, well, and for most people, that's like, that guy's crazy. What's he talking about? If you need it done right, you have to have your hand on the tool. You got to do it yourself. And really what we found is that you can't duplicate yourself. We all have 24 hours in the day, and so if the business is just centered around me, there's only so many people I can help. But if we're trying to influence as many people as we can, if we want to change as many lives, that comes down to the leverage, but it has to be the leverage of the right people. And it took us years to find and gather in the very right people. One of them, for example, my business partner, Steve Earle, had 2 decades of experience in the business world with his own businesses, building businesses, buying, selling them, doing all of that. And I didn't have any of that experience. I was real young. This was really my first business. So working with him, I had a vision for what I wanted the company to become. I was the creative. I had these ideas, but he was the stable. He was the one that came in and said,
he gave you the anchor. He locked you in. Yeah.
Tyler Bennett's another one of them. Tyler Bennett came onto the team as a very successful loan officer, very successful realtor, very successful in all these different real estate areas. And he was just so good at what he did that he was a perfect addition to the team because he knew everything down to the tiniest detail. Another thing that we did is we put an entire coaching staff together. Because when I started saying, hey, let's help people do real estate, first thing they had, all their insecurities would manifest, their fears would come up, and I thought, man, one cell phone and one Kris Krhon, we got a problem. So we put a staff in place that became expert in teaching this and putting this together. That was huge. A couple of my friends, Stephen Miller, came on board as our expert property management team. Kevin Clayson came on board to be a loan officer. He excelled in that area and arena. Then we started getting people like Ed Hoyt. Ed Hoyt that saw what we had created and said, wow, you guys could take this to a whole new level if you had my experience having had many businesses bought and sold and built them successfully. He's had his shares of failures, but his last company that he sold and retired off of, $100 million a year in sales.
It's pretty good.
That was a lot bigger than anything we ever did. So when you start amassing the right people, we started bringing on consultants, an entire legal team. In our business, we stretch across the board from SEC to FTC, Division of Real Estate, Division of Insurance, all of that. And so you need a really competent legal team like Babner and Associates that helps us with our entire marketing platform. Mike Sheffield, one of the top consultants, some would say the top consultant in the arena of how to run a proper direct sales company. So when you have all the right people on the bus, you can be successful.
Well, it's interesting you said, because one of the questions I always ask, and everyone wants to know, who is the legal and compliance? what's their experience, what's their background, and you just gave out two of the best names in the industry,
Yeah.
Babner and Sheffield, and they're incredible. In fact, let's talk about Sheffield a little bit, what he's accomplished in his life and who he's helped out in the industry. It's what 600 plus companies he's worked with.
Yeah, he's created compensation plans for over 600. He's launched over 800 companies. In fact, of the top 100 current top either MLM or direct sales companies, he has consulted or birthed 23 of them out of his office.
That's huge. And he's very experienced. I mean, that's one of the best people you get in the industry to even consult with you, let alone think this is a great program. Babner does the same thing. So the legal compliance is always an important piece for all of us, that you have that so well handled, and you also have an SEC attorney.
Yep.
They're on your staff, and I look at what's going on with the other parts of the company, and we haven't even talked about. I know we have the real estate package, but it's the whole product package you have that really allows people from both a consumer standpoint and a builder to work from.